Welcome to Empowerment Moment with Dr. G. Wow, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year, everyone. What an awesome time it is to be here with all of you. I'm super grateful for your life, and I know that you are also having a blessed day, I hope. I'm sitting here with some of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Anytime I am with my families, I'm so grateful. And I'm just like, wow, what a good time to be with you. I hope you're having a great day. Oftentimes we look at our lives and sometimes we think it's harsh, it's hard. But I want to remind you tonight that no matter how hard things may be, there is always hope, and that's part of why this organization exists. And one of the exciting things that we have coming this year is that we're able to impact more lives. And when I say impact more lives, it's because our concept here is each day find means and ways to inspire people. And that's really, really what I'm passionate about. And that's why our program coordinator, that's why all our program assistants, everyone, our board members, everyone that's part of our organization is super excited to want to be a blessing to so many lives. I'm going to share with you some of the things that I have been thinking about and meditating on, and I hope that will inspire all of you tonight. I wanted to welcome my program coordinator, Ashley. Ashley, want to say hello to everybody? Yeah, I was going to say that's better because I was wondering, like, hey, why is she looking down? So say hi to everyone and tell everybody Happy New Year, because this is all part of the stuff that we like to do, right? Yes, got to say hello. They can't hear you. You're muted. There you go. I was going to say you're muted. It's still muted. All right. We'll come back to Ashley as she's attempting to unmute herself. Welcome, Savannah. It's good to have you join me on live. That's exciting. She's in the Zoom room with me. Like I said, I'm super excited that it's been a new year, and it's a new year because we're still in the month of January and we're in 2022, and this is a monthly event among the other events I might go like to have. So it's already the end of the month and a lot has happened, hasn't it? We went from being able to get around to, removing our mask. We went from being able to, get a piece of, connecting with everybody, getting excited with everybody. So now we're at the place where we went back to sheltering again. And the school year started and my kids and I were like, wait, I thought it's the end of the year and we're in a place where we can all be out and about. And was it like last month? I was just talking about the gala and how much fun we had because we were live. And then we went from there to now we had to go back to sheltering again. And I got to tell you, that was not pretty exciting. Let me share this. Hopefully we're on Facebook Live because I want to make sure that folks are seeing us. And then we can make sure that people are joining in on this conversation. Joining onto this conversation. This is the important part of what we do. Tonight, my topic that I wanted to share was something that I've been thinking about and meditating on. And I've been thinking about the fact that when we walk around and we think about the people who are around me, there is power in our words. There is power in the things we share with people. And it's so important that we are mindful about that when we have people around us, we have the ability and the capability to inspire them and inspire life. And so I was reading this devotional the other day. So I've always used the concept here that devotional is something that inspires you and encourages you. And I'm a woman of faith, so I get my source of joy, my source of empowerment, my source of encouragement, my source of inspiration from the Word of God, which is the Bible. And every morning no matter what's happening. That's one thing that I have to go to. It's almost like you have to get your cup of coffee. I'm a coffee person. When I don't have my coffee, I'll maybe a little crabby. So to avoid being crabby, before I get out of my house, I've had my cup of strong coffee, so it kicks my day. But before I get to the coffee, I usually have to make sure that I get to spend time with my creator, who enables me and encourages me to keep going. And as a parent who is raising a special needs young person, I know that there is a need to make sure what I have is topped up to the top before I can start my day. Otherwise, I'm going to move forward and keep going and feel depleted and feel like I don't have anything else to give. So for those of you who ever want to know what is the secret that I have, my secret is that I make sure that I get into the very thing that will sustain me. So I'm going to share something that I was reading last week that just absolutely, it kind of speaks to what I do, and it completely inspired me. And basically, it just goes like this. It's out of a book in the Bible called Ezekiel. Now, Ezekiel was a prophet. That means that he was able to speak out things, and they had a way of inspiring and motivating and moving people, right? And so he was just basically the mouthpiece for God. And in this particular text, in chapter 37 of this book, the title is called Dry Bones, right? So that's really what I'm going to use as the illustration here tonight. So I'm going to see if I can pin myself here. So this way I'm not showing anybody. All right, what's my able assistant? Delali, can you just put me on pin for a minute? So it's just me, myself, and I. The story goes like this. You know, if you've ever thought and felt like you're dry, you're brittle, you're dry, you don't feel like things are happening around you, you feel like weighted down, feel like things are not moving the way it should. And I know all of us have felt one way or the other like that. But believe it or not, when you think about this story in Ezekiel chapter 37, it has a way of saying, when I get to that place, I want to make sure that there's somebody around me who can inspire me and who can help me to keep going. On the flip side, I also want to remind us that when we get to an environment and we see that the people around us are not feeling the way that they should, or you see them down, we have a corresponding responsibility to make sure we pull them alongside of us. So I want you to think about this story that I'm about to read with the concept of leadership or parenting or mentoring in mind, right? So in this story of Ezekiel chapter 37, and I'm just going to read from verse 1 and through 14, and I'll read it quickly. And it talks about how this is what Ezekiel was writing. It says, the hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit and set me in the middle of a valley. So just picture this valley. And he says it was full of bones. So if you can imagine this valley full of bones, and he said he led me back and forth. So this Spirit was leading him back and forth. And he saw so many great bones on the floor of the valley. The bones were very dry. So you can just picture it, walking into an environment where people are very dry. They have no hope, nothing. And he asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? And Ezekiel replied and said, Sovereign Lord, you alone knows this. And then the Lord replied to him and said, well, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. So you're picturing this scene. This man is sitting in the middle of a valley. All around him, they're seeing these bones. And he's saying, okay, can these bones really live? God was asking Ezekiel this, and Ezekiel's like, I don't know, you're the God. And he said to them, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the Lord, sovereign Lord, the Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you and you will come to life. So you're listening to what's happening here. God asked this man, he says, do you think these bones can live? Or basically, do you think life can come into these people? And he said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, I want to tell you something. You tell this bone that it can live and it will live. So this Ezekiel decided to say, you know what? I will speak to this thing. So he said, well, I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So Ezekiel continued and said, I prophesied the way I was commanded. And as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendon and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, and there was no breath in it. So you picture this scene. This man speaks, and all of a sudden, the bones start to now generate and have skin and have all that, but there was still no life. So then he said to me, prophesy breath into them, son of man, and this is what the Lord said. Come, breath from the four winds and breathe into this slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them and they came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. So picture this again. I like to always, I think the teacher in me, I'm a pseudo teacher. The teacher in me always say, okay, let's do recall. You enter this room, dry bones. People are like not feeling excited. They're feeling sad. And I know Ashley's a teacher. Did your mic work yet? You go into your classroom and the students are like, You say good morning and they're like, How many of us have ever been that? You walk in, just when you think your kids are coming home, like, hi, Mom. They're like, But you know that you have to muster up the energy because they're coming into the door and you have to give them. But sometimes we're not feeling that excitable because there are things that are wearing us down. So he said, son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. They say, our bones had dried up and our hope is gone. We are cut off. And he said, therefore say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, my people, I am going to open up graves and bring you up from there. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord. And I open your graves and bring you up from them. I will put my spirit in you and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. And you'll know that I, the Lord, have spoken, declares it. So here is a man who goes into a room where people are dried out. People are feeling down. People are not feeling encouraged. And he's having this side conversation with God and saying, what's going on with this? And God is saying, well, what's going on with them? You speak life into them. That is what many of us will come to. So this story is speaking about a valley with dry bones. But I'm bringing it to the place where we're saying that many of us have been inspired to speak a word to someone else who we meet who's feeling down. How many times have we gone into an environment where it feels like it's dry, where it feels like people are down? Well, if you're raising a child with special needs, I guarantee you, if you walk into a classroom or a room where parents who are overwhelmed are sitting, it's so easy to see that they are feeling down because they're overwhelmed. But no matter where you find yourself, there is something in you that you can speak life into that situation. So if you've gone through a season where it felt dry and it felt long, and it just seems like you're just tired, I promise you that our mindset about that situation can be changed if we can say, let's speak life into that situation. And that's a really, really important point that I want to raise. I come into these conversations as a way to say, we are going to go through some elements of life, and how we choose to look at it is very important. Are you seeing this situation as completely dead? Completely there can be nothing about it that can look good? Or would you choose to say, you know what, no matter how hard it is, I know that I can speak life into it. If you've been around me long enough, you'll know that it doesn't matter what life hits you with or life hits me with, I see it as an opportunity to still press through. Doesn't mean that I don't have my moments when I'm like, God, this is like heavy duty. I was just having a conversation earlier that this is one of those weeks that I was challenged because some things happened where I'm just like, whoa, okay, this is a little overwhelming. I didn't expect this to happen. But you know what? I go into what I call my prayer closet. And I'm like, God, you gave me this child and you gave me this situation. And I'm trusting you to give me the wisdom to know what to do. And as soon as then all of a sudden, a sense of, you know what, hey, there's someone out there who has it harder than you, and someone out there who can be inspired by what you do and how you live. So keep going. And the moment I think like that, all of a sudden I feel I'm inspired. And that's where I can now say, okay, let me come here and have this conversation. So as I was telling this story, if you're going through a season of life where it seems like it's overwhelming, or you feel like there are people around you that can use your help, that means that God is using you and is using the other person to kind of connect and be able to inspire each other. So if you're in a place right now where you're feeling very down, look around you. Are there people who I can say are impact-given mentors, or people who, you know, when you're around them, they're happy people? Whatever happy pill they're on, you can take some of that and it will inspire you. Well, guess what? Those are the people you need to be around. I like to be around happy people, people who are smiling. If they're not smiling, I'm like, I like to see teeth, I call it. Because you know what? It can be contagious. Do you know that laughing can actually be very contagious? You can walk into a room, hear people laughing, you have no idea what they're laughing about. All of a sudden, if you stay there long enough, you're going to join them. And when you do that, whatever the heaviness is will start to lift up. So if you're in that season right now where you just feel like things are overwhelming, I invite you to join us. You know, when we have events like this, we have programs like this, I invite you to join us, because if you're around us, we're going to say to you, no matter how hard your life has been, I want to assure you that you have breath still living in you. And for that, you need to take hold of that. So choose life, because life is important. Now, if you're also on the other end, that you're inspired to keep going, look around you and look for people who you know are struggling and choose to breathe life in them. So if you remember what I said earlier about that Ezekiel man, right? He looked at the bones in this valley, and it says these bones are dried up and their hope is all gone and they're cut off. And what did God say to them? He said, well, if you see that their hope is gone, they're feeling down, then speak life into them. Remind them that they have something powerful in them. They're capable, they can do it, they can press through, they can rise up, they can expect the unexpected. And so that's what Ezekiel did. He spoke life into the bones. So today I'm encouraging you, look around you. Who do you see that needs hope? Who do you see that you feel like, wow, I just see her and I just sense something is going on with her or him? That's hard. Maybe it's your kids. You're seeing them and their head is down. Rather than yell at them, just remind them that they are fearfully and wonderfully made. They have something to hold on to. You know, even though it seems like things are hard right now, it will get better. It will. It always does. And you may say, well, it doesn't. It just seems like my issue goes on and on and on. But you know what? It's a choice to look at your situation and say, I'm grateful that I have breath. I'm grateful that I'm standing up. I'm grateful that I'm sitting up. I'm grateful that I have family around me. I'm grateful that God has brought people around me who can inspire me and who can encourage me. That's what we have to think about. So look for opportunities to bring hope to others by reminding them how beautiful they are. You know, look for something about them that you can compliment. You say, yeah, did you have anybody ever tell you you have a nice smile? Oh, I like that shoe you're wearing. Look for something about them. That may seem like ordinary, and say something to them. Maybe you're in a grocery store, you see somebody that's just looking harassed and just looking down. Look for something and say, hey, I see that about you and I think it's great. You never know. Maybe that person was just like feeling like, oh my God, but that moment when you say that will just inspire them. So just look for opportunities to bring hope in the valley of the dry bones. That's really what the story here tonight is. Look for opportunities to bring hope to people who are in the valley of the dry bones. And if you are the person who's in the valley of the dry bones, look for people around you who you can call on, who can inspire you, who can remind you that you have something worthwhile. So I hope that inspires you somehow. It sounds like I'm feeling like one of those moments where I'm just like, okay, I'm saying these things in a roundabout way. Hopefully it's making sense. But my question to you tonight is, are there people around you who have been a source of inspiration to you? If they are, please, please, please do me a favor, text them, email them, call them, and tell them, you know what? You have been a source of inspiration. And I promise you this, who knows, maybe they may be having a hard day. Maybe they're just feeling some kind of way. But the moment you send them that text or call or email them, you will lift them up. Because even the people who give life or who give, let's take our leaders, let's take our bosses, let's take our pastors. By the way, today is my pastor's birthday. So I say happy birthday, Pastor G. Thank God for your life. Thank God for being a blessing in mine. So I just want you to know you've inspired me and inspired many of us underneath it. So while I'm, saying this words, I must will also say to those, my other person that is a source of inspiration is my other pastor, Lorraine, who has been a source of just inspiration to me all the time. So we all have mentors in our life who speak life into us, who encourage us, who just say, you know what, keep going, keep pressing, you can do this. For the moms and dads out there, I want you to know that you're doing an amazing job raising your special loved one. Know that whatever you're given is good enough. I want you to know it's good enough. Sometimes we just start to say, if I had more time, if I had this, if I had that, and we start berating ourselves. Give yourself some credit. Give yourself some credit. You are doing what you can. As long as you're giving your 100%, even if it feels like you used to be able to do more, but you're not able to do as much, every season brings a different challenge. And as long as you're giving it 100%, I want to remind you, you are doing the best that you can for your loved one. And I want you to do something for your kid. Give them a hug and tell them, you are good just the way you are. You are good just the way you are. Nothing more, nothing less. Because sometimes we're aspiring for the next level. We want more. We're expecting more, but we don't even live out the moment. We don't even celebrate the moment. So tonight, I just hope that me talking, it's also encouraging you. So your task is, one, what do we say our task is? Let the person who's been a source of inspiration to you know that it's been a source of inspiration to you. Number two, if you're a parent, hug your loved one, your child, the person that's, you've been trusted to care for, and let them know you're good just the way they are, because that's part of speaking life into hopelessness. And then if you're feeling down tonight, I just want you to know you are good the way you are. You are a blessing to many lives because you exist in this life. And that's always our prayer. That is always our hope. That is always our desire and my goal, to be a blessing to so many of you. I don't have it perfect. I always look for, okay, how can we continue this journey and make it better? And that's why I started at the top of the hour saying that there'll be great things that we're going to be doing. And we do what we do because there have been many, many, many people who have been come alongside of us on this journey and continue to inspire us and encourage us. And so I thank all of you for being who you are and being a source of support. And if you're watching and you're watching later, know that the blessing that I desire for you is that you will also come to know the God that I serve, the God who saved me, the God who delivered me. He's the reason why I sit here, because if he wasn't there, I would not do what I do. And I would like to invite you to be a part of that family. And so come and join us every month, the fourth Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. We have our ASA Empowerment Movement program. And then the second Thursday of the month at 7 p.m., more private, we have what we call the social hour, where our families come together and we play games virtually right now. And then we share our thoughts and ideas and ways to inspire each other. And then the second Sunday of the month at 3 o'clock, we have our Ask the Expert topic. So February 13th at 3 p.m. will be Ask Our Expert topic. February 10th at 7 p.m. is our social hour. And then, of course, the end of the month, at the end of February, and let me see what date is that. That's February 24th. We're going to have a empowerment moment, and you never know what I'm going to talk about. You never know who I'm going to bring on. You never know what you're going to be inspired to hear. But it's all part of it, restoring hope, restoring families. And one of the words that acronyms I use for hope is holding on to possibilities every day. That was my acronym for it. And the idea here is that no matter what you're going through, you got to hold on. You got to press on. You got to believe with all your heart that things will work together for your good, according to God's purposes. And that is a promise. So I hope you have been inspired and encouraged and revived, because I wanted to speak into these bones and say, let's go. You can do this. And, Omicron or Delta or COVID or whatever it wants to call its name is not going to stop all of us from continuing to have faith and believing that no matter what we're going through, we can do this. And so I hope I have given you a word to keep going. And so remember, God loves you. Jesus loves you. I love you, but he loves you more. And on behalf of the My Go family, join us. If you want more information, we have a grant program that's getting ready to start up for 2022. We give our family grants to families. This year, we're super excited that we're going to give out 25 grants to families in an amount of $1,000 each. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm super excited. So 25 families, when they apply and they're selected, will get $1,000 each. So that'll make a total of $25,000. So coming next week will be when the applications will open up, and the applications will open up from February 1st, thereabouts, all the way through the end of April. There's specific criteria that one has to meet, including having a child on the autism spectrum and having proof of diagnosis, also sharing with us what you're going to use the resources for. We have a whole grant committee that actually reviews that material and then go through the process of selection. And last year, we were fortunate that we were able to have 26 families given $20,000. And this year we said, well, we want to do it so that each family that will receive the grant will get $1,000 each. How do we do this? We do it because individuals have been amazingly supportive of our organization and what we do and the impact that we bring. And we want to continue to be a blessing to as many families as we can. So you just know to check us out, mygoalinc.org. We'll have more information for you. And on there, you can sign up to be part of our mailing list so you can hear more about some of the things that we do. I am so excited about this. And I want to thank Savannah and Magna and Daranke for joining us on here, and on all the wonderful Facebook friends who join us. Thank you for being a part of my goal. Thank you for being a part of my family. Thank you for being a part of a source of encouragement to me. And we love you and appreciate you. And we hope you have a wonderful evening. Now remember, go out there and speak life into those situations, because we know that there's power in your words to bring life to the people who are feeling hopeless around you. So on that